This is Kathy Sadlier-Fiol, and I am doing my first video for week number 7. I've created a Google document that I'm going to use to cut and paste and put some notes on there. I also have a piece of paper that I'm going to use to jot down some notes. So I think the first thing I'm going to put in is, my topic is why some K through 12 schools choose to encourage and or produce online classes for their students, and why some K through 12 schools do not choose to encourage and or produce online classes. So I think I'm going to take the negative one first, why they do not choose, and I think I'm just going to go ahead, I think I'm going to put in why some schools do not use online classes and see what I get. Why do some classes not why do some schools not use online classes? Let's see what I get for that. College, how to get a job teaching online. List of test optional schools. Some answers about eSchool. Maybe I can get some information there. States, districts require online ed for high school graduation. U.S. News, I'll go in there. How do we transform our schools? Snow days turn into e-learning for some schools. So I'm going to take a look at some of these and see what's going on. So some questions you may have on eSchool, about how many students are typically enrolled at a time. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to go to the main page and see. Oh, this is Hawaii. So they're talking about eSchool in Hawaii. So now that I know where it's located. eSchool is a supplementary education program run by the Hawaii Department of Education, designed to offer online distance education credit classes. Historically, it's serviced from 200 to 400 students a semester. We believe it's safe. I'm not sure this is going to give me what I want, so. Oh, is there a certain kind of student that's most successful? What has been made very clear to us is that initial success for eSchool students depends on factors in 3 distinct areas: digital skills, connectivity, and motivation. Let's say you're a high school student who has made the decision to supplement your high school education with an online class. Your thought process goes something like this. Sure, I know how to use a computer. You thought, right? I have the modem connection, and doing all right in classes was kind of simple when all I really had to do was show up most of the time, sit in the classes, and let my teachers tell me what to know. Gee, this online education is tougher than I thought. I'm not doing so well. What's wrong? It sounded so easy. It turns out distance online education is hard. Most often it's harder than going to regular school. Why? Here's what a student needs to succeed. They need the fastest connectivity possible and a good, speedy computer. You're going to be online every day. That turns out to be important every day, so I will capitalize it. You really don't have the time and probably the patience to wait for all of the web pages to load. You really need to get as quick of a connection to the internet as possible in your area. Many of the technologies that are used in these online courses require a modem operating system and a speedy computer to make the course satisfying or even doable. A successful student needs a good set of digital skills. Being able to cruise the internet is not enough. At bare minimum, you need to possess a word processing program and understand how to use it, how to save a file, find them after you save them in different formats, use the thesaurus, spelling checker are required skills. An understanding of the internet technologies such as browsers, browser plugins, HTML, FTP are skills that can only help the online student. It turns out the most important characteristic of a successful student is their motivation. In fact, it has been the case already in e-school that a student might be at a serious disadvantage in the two earlier mentioned areas of requirements, but when they have the motivation to, they do just fine. It may still be a struggle, but they succeed. A student who doesn't really need that super fast connection or to be a computer genius with the latest and greatest equipment if they have the drive, responsibility, motivation, and a can-do attitude to get it done. So I think that's kind of an important, that it's motivation. So I'm going to go in here and copy that, get my web address so I know where I got it from. Need 3 things to succeed. Fast computer, fast connection, and motivation. Number 1 factor. Okay. That's it. You just must do the work. That means hitting your classes and working line every day. You must make a schedule. Okay. Get into your head. You cannot sit. Okay. Oh, our class is open. Alright, I'm thinking that that's pretty much all I want out of there. I'm going to go ahead and start bookmarking. Got to create a new folder, week 7. Okay, so this is from U.S. News. High school notes, states, districts require online ed for high school graduation. While adult interest in online courses at the college level appears to be waning, enrollment in virtual classes at the K-12 level is on the rise. Nearly 620,000 students took an online course. Where is this coming from? Who? Don't know. Okay. Nearly 620,000 students took an online course during the 11-12 school year, up 16% from the previous year, according to an annual report released this week by the Evergreen Education Group, which works with schools to implement online and blended learning programs. The number of states and school districts requiring online courses for high school graduation also grew, as states aim to teach students how to operate in an increasingly digital world. Lawmakers in Virginia and Idaho signed legislation in the past year requiring students to take at least one online course in order to earn a high school diploma, and the governor of Minnesota signed a law in May that strongly encourages but does not require students to take an online course before graduating from high school. Alabama, Florida, and Michigan already have laws on the books requiring virtual education for graduation, and school boards in multiple districts have enacted similar provisions, including Marietta City Schools in Georgia, Memphis and Putnam in Tennessee, and Wisconsin. For officials in those states and districts, requiring online courses for graduation is the necessary step toward college and career readiness. I'm going to link the Michigan thing and see what it tells me additional about Michigan. The reality is, when a student leaves us, whether they're going to a four-year college, a technical college, or going into the world of work, they're going to have to do an online course. Someone from Tennessee told Education Week last year while she was director of the Putnam County Schools. This helps prepare the students. While online learning can help prepare students for life after high school, the jury is still out whether laws mandating virtual courses are the best route. Can help prepare them? It depends on how the laws are implemented. It depends on what kind of access students have to different providers in the state. I would argue that Florida is positioned the best of any state in the country simply because they have so many providers functioning in the state. Students in Florida can choose among online learning programs offered by the state, their school district, and virtual charter schools approved by the state. In contrast, lawmakers in Indiana recently shot down an attempt to add online education to the state's graduation requirements, largely because of the limited number of virtual education providers in the state. I'm wondering why they require that they be in the state. It's interesting that they would really care where they're physically located. Districts would have been throwing together courses just to meet this requirement, she adds. Legislation requiring online courses for graduation also needs to take rural students into consideration, she says, as students in some schools don't have access to the infrastructure needed to succeed in an online course. We have some towns in Colorado that just don't have broadband because they can't, they're too rural. It's absolutely a big question and a big concern in implementation on those requirements. So some of them aren't going ahead and requiring it. So let's see. Some states don't require because they don't have in-state online schools, and connectivity is an issue, especially for rural schools. Can't type today. Rural. Okay, and I got that from here. Okay, so that's interesting. I'll bookmark this one. Clicked on Michigan. Let me see what it said. Michigan high school students must earn at least 16 credits in various subjects and take an online course before graduating. The state challenges schools to report early warning signs of future high school dropouts. And Michigan has 7 schools with gold medals. To be eligible for a statewide school must award a national. Okay. All right. So they only have to take an online course in Michigan. Interesting. Okay, I think I bookmarked this. Okay. How do we transform our schools? Teachers, administrators, researchers, reformers, government leaders, parents, whatever, extolled the benefits that computer-based learning could have in schools. Educational video games, often referred to as edutainment or serious games, could make learning fun and motivating, especially for today's students. Computers offer a way to customize instruction and allow students to learn in the way that they are best wired to process information in the style that conforms to them and at a pace that matches their own. Computer-based learning on a large scale is also less expensive than the current labor-intensive system and could solve the financial dilemmas facing public schools. I agree. That's a good reason. I'm going to add that to my document, that online can help with the, what do I want to say? The expense of classrooms. So that is a big reason to, good reason to be a proponent for those types of things. I'm only going to do 15-minute videos because I'm having issues with computers and saving and whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to bookmark this page so I don't. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break, do little breaks, and that's how I'm going to So I'm going to do a 15-minute video and then take a break, and then do like a 15-minute video and then take a break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now, and this should be like my first 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and take a break and then come back with my second video.